500 suicides. I mean, that is a staggering number. Welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at some recent parliamentary reports from the Rajya Sabha, which is the upper house of India's parliament. And we're unpacking a growing, honestly, a fatal crisis inside the Indian public sector banks.
Yes, we're looking at an apparently toxic workplace environment that has literally reached a breaking point. A member of parliament recently brought this to light, directly linking these tragic suicide deaths to toxic, extreme workplace harassment and, well, impossible daily performance targets.
Clearly, what we're seeing here is Indian public sector banks putting profit before employee welfare, mental wellness, and corporate responsibility. I'm Priya Chakraborty, and my co host is Neena Bhattacharya.
Absolutely. PSBs have become a target obsessed system where pressure masquerades as profit. Public sector banks aren't chasing margins, they're chasing impossible metrics. And employee welfare is the collateral damage of that model.
All right, but 500 isn't just a statistic. When you look through these parliamentary records, you realize each of those numbers was a real person trapped in a system that basically broke them.
Absolutely. And there are some incredibly heartbreaking accounts in here. Like there was one employee in Gujarat who told a superior over the phone, quote, "I have lost the will to live," right before ending their life.
That is just awful and devastating.
It is. And that same despair echoes across multiple states. I mean, we see notes left by a chief manager at Union Bank and a 38-year-old manager in Kannur, Kerala. Both of them explicitly blame their inability to cope with crushing work pressure for their respective suicides.
Impossible targets they could not meet, either physically or mentally.
Yeah, exactly. They left notes explicitly blaming these unmanageable and unrealistic targets.
There was also a branch manager in Tamil Nadu who left behind a 1-year-old daughter.
It's beyond tragic. I keep picturing this toxic work environment like a pressure cooker. But like someone has welded the release valve completely shut. The pressure just builds and builds with nowhere to go, making a catastrophic explosion the inevitable outcome.
That is a really accurate analogy for what's happening.
But wait, I'm stuck on something here. I mean, public banks are supposed to be almost like utilities, right? They provide basic financial services to citizens. So why are they suddenly acting like aggressive Wall Street brokerages? Indeed, flashes of the 2013 film The Wolf of Wall Street comes to mind.
That shift is the quiet violence at the heart of this crisis. Public banks, once built to steady a nation, now demand that ordinary employees hurl themselves at unreachable targets, chasing numbers with the desperation of the wolves of Wall Street, even as their own spirit is what's being hunted.
Okay, I follow that. And to do that without spending money to hire more staff, they fundamentally altered their core mission. They've turned everyday tellers and branch managers into a high pressure sales force.
I need a personal favor. If you're new here, welcome to the Bloggerian. We cover the real stories across India's banking sectors and pension landscapes. So hit that subscribe and bell buttons right now so you never miss a podcast like this one.
Thank you. Your support means a lot for this channel. Now back to the crisis of stress in Indian public sector banking.
So instead of just helping you open a basic checking account, they're being forced to cross sell third party corporate products like private insurance and mutual funds.
Yes, and the reports also mention aggressive targets for government schemes. So things like the Atal Pension Yojana and Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana.
Wait, those are state backed pension and savings plans for citizens, right?
Exactly. But the reality on the ground is severe. Employees report being kept at the office late into the night, like literally barred from leaving until those daily sales quotas are hit.
Barred from leaving, that's intense. And this is all happening while the workforce is rapidly shrinking, isn't it?
Exactly. And on the ground, it plays out with a kind of quiet cruelty. Workers describe nights where the office doors don't just stay open, they stay shut behind them. Grown adults, parents, caregivers, human beings held in place until the day's quotas are conquered, as if exhaustion were merely another resource to be mined.
Because I saw that as of June 2025, public banks had over 32,500 vacant posts,
32,567 to be precise. Yes, they are opening new branches constantly, but operating them with fewer and fewer people.
Wow, so we have this inescapable loop. Fewer workers, higher profit demands, and these aggressive sales mandates and unrealistic targets.
It is soul sapping, yes, but more than that, it erodes something essential in a person. When a workplace repeatedly aligns with loss of life, the frame shifts. This isn't a routine labor dispute anymore. It's a public health emergency, a national reckoning with how far we're willing to push human beings before they break.
It's true, and it forces a harder truth into view. When a workplace begins to cost people their lives, it stops being a labor issue and becomes a national alarm bell. This is a system grinding down the very people who hold it up, and the real question is why we've allowed that to become normal.
The plea made in Parliament by MP A. Rashim was a call for immediate government oversight to stop what was literally described as slavery in the public bank sector and, protect these workers' lives.
It really makes you think. Next time a bank employee aggressively pushes you to open a new savings account or buy an insurance policy, remember the toxic, welded shut pressure cooker they're literally operating in.
They're not out to irritate you. Most are simply trying to survive. What looks like indifference is often a person straining under impossible demands, pushed by managers who mistake pressure for leadership and treat corporate responsibility as a slogan rather than a duty.
Exactly. Behind every awkward interaction is someone fighting to hold their life together. And it leaves you with this question to ponder. As banking becomes increasingly convenient for the consumer, who's ultimately paying the hidden human cost of that efficiency?
It's the uncomfortable truth. Every tap and go convenience is built on someone else's exhaustion. As banking gets smoother for us, the hidden cost is often paid by workers stretched to breaking point. How long can India's public sector banking system run on people who are running on empty? That's the trillion rupee question. Until the next time.